Heartbroken in a honky tonk. You dropped a bomb, that cowboy picked it up. You spun me around like a bell boy. You're sipping Jim Beam, watching me.
It's Lee Richey for Bigfoot Country Radio and the Big Pig, and I am delighted to bring to you guys somebody that I'm just becoming aware of. She's got a brand new single out, Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk, and it's a true story. We're going to find out all about that with J.Antonette. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
We are doing great. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us and talk about this great song.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this one.
Well, you know, I mean, one of the things that caught my eye, of course, is that you're a New York gal, which is good, because you're talking to a lot of New Yorkers right now, and you're from. I was trying to think you're from the Utica area, and I'm thinking, who else in country music was from the Utica area? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I know some locals like in my bracket who are doing country music in Tennessee as well, but also from New York. But I don't. Are there major people?
Well, Tom and Mike Gosson, the two guys from Gloriana.
Yes. Oh,
They're
yes.
from Utica. Right. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
We got to represent.
How cool is that, huh?
That is so cool.
So you're down in Nashville now, of course, which is pretty much where you need to be in the business. And you're doing great things. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, yeah, I grew up in the Utica area, and I have been singing for a very long time. I always thought I was just going to be a songwriter, but it turned into something else. I got my start as a professional musician, as a background singer for different celebrity acts, like Melissa Etheridge, Michael Bolton, the Goo Goo Dolls, things like that.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby for starting out. And then I really kind of found my own voice during that time. I would say originally I started in like alt rock and then pop. I kind of like messed around trying to find myself.
Yeah.
And but my roots were always in country music. And I think there's a big misconception, especially here in Nashville, when I say I'm from New York, they're like, how do you sing country? And I'm like, well, once you leave the city, which is this big compared to like the whole state of New York, there's a lot of country music up there. I grew up listening to Tim McGraw and the Dixie Chicks and all different stuff.
I go down all the time for CRS and different radio things. And I tell people I'm from New York, and they're like, oh, I want to come up and see the skyscrapers. And I say, well, I'm from the other New York
Upstate,
where there's cows and fields and things like that, and country music.
Right. I'm like, it's just really fascinating because people's perception of New York is just the city. I'm like, no, it's so beautiful and rural and hardworking people, and it's amazing.
And there are a lot of country fans up here and a lot of great venues too.
Oh, a lot of great venues. Yes.
You mentioned, starting out doing background music, background singing. Have you seen the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom?
I have seen that. Yeah.
How cool is that, huh?
It's really, really cool. And they're like some of the best musicians ever, Oh,
sure. Yeah. And I'm sure you can relate to them. And when I heard your voice, I knew right away that you've already had that professional kind of training, in the way you come across and the way you deliver. So you've got that extra little edge going for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You sound great. You sound great. The latest song that you've got out, the one that caught my attention, Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk. Tell me about it.
Actually, this is one of my favorite ones that I've put out yet. It's the most country that I have, like out of all my singles. Some of my other stuff is more like pop country. This is like has a lot of country instrumentation in here. And it's based on a true story. A couple months ago, I got out of a relationship. The guy that I was with, I had suspicions like he was, playing the field a little behind my back or like teetering that line between, cheating, not sure. He kept telling me, no, you're crazy. It's not true. I'm only here for you. I'm not seeing it. I don't talk to anybody. Anyway, we had just broken up. The night before, he had sent me a voice memo on my phone, and he was like, I'm so sorry about all of this. It's not what you think. I haven't been seeing anybody. I'm not talking to anybody, blah, blah, blah. So instead of reacting, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a beat. I'm going to go out by myself. And I had heard of this very famous showcase called Honky Tonk Tuesday. at the
Okay.
American Legion in East Nashville. And everyone always talks about it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go. None of my friends wanted to go. So I went by myself, and I walk into the bar alone, and I met this guy at the bar, and he was just a very nice guy, very friendly.
Sure.
And he was like, are you by yourself? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, why don't you come sit with me so you're not alone? And I have a friend coming from a date. You can hang out with us. And I was like, that is so kind.
Yeah,
Of course.
sounds great.
So I take a seat at a bar. At the bar, he buys me a drink. Guess who his friend was on the date? My ex walks in.
Surprise.
It's a woman.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, really? Really? I've just been gaslit for the entire year. So I was not happy. But instead of like really reacting, I kind of tried to contain my tears. And so I walked over to the dance floor, and I had never two-stepped. I mean, this is a honky tonk, like an authentic honky tonk. You two-step, and there's like Western, it's like the real deal. And this cowboy comes up, like out of a movie, like Urban Cowboy with John Travolta, you know? He comes up to me and he's like, ma'am, would you like to dance? And I was like, okay. And like, try not to cry. And he spun me around the dance floor. What a crappy night it was. And it turned into one of the best nights in Nashville. Two-stepping became my hobby. And I wrote the song Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk. And it's my favorite, and it means something to me. And it's fun. It's upbeat. And it's also like a big, you know, F you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's take a listen right now. Here's J.Antonette and Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk.
I went out alone. Met a guy at the bar waiting on his friend. This town's getting smaller. Who knew it'd be you walking in, and I almost died in a dive on a Tuesday night. Heartbroken in a honky tonk. You dropped a bomb, that cowboy picked it up. You spun me around like a bell of a boy. You're sipping Jim Beam, watching me. It's just the closure I need. Left you heartbroken in a honky tonk. Left you heartbroken in a honky. I don't know how you do it. Out of all of the bars in East Tennessee, looking casually guilty with her, but you can't take your eyes off me. And I almost died in a dive on a Tuesday night. Heartbroken in a honky tonk. You dropped the bomb, that cowboy picked it up. You spun me around like the bell of a boy. You're sipping Jim Beam, watching me. It's just the closure I need. Left you heartbroken in a honky tonk. Left you heartbroken in a honky tonk. You're too time and I'm too tired of playing your game. Sending me I love yous, I miss yous yesterday. Heartbroken in a honky tonk. You dropped a bomb, that cowboy picked it up. You spun me around like a bell of a boy. You're sipping Jim Beam, watching me. It's just the closure I need. Left you heartbroken in a honky tonk. Honky tonk. Honky tonk. Left you heartbroken in a honky tonk.
It's Bigfoot Country Radio and the Big Pig, Lee Richey with you. That is Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk. J.Antonette is my guest. Great song. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How did COVID you mentioned you moved down there right before COVID hit. Did it kind of put the brakes on your career, or did you use that time to be creative in other ways?
Well, I think it put a standstill for everybody, not even just in music, but all over the world.
Right.
So yeah, it put a standstill on, you know, the musical aspect, but I had a lot of time to write and a lot of time to create. And then I also, aside from music, I found that I have to have different hobbies other than just my career. So it allowed me to like really find who I am.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Besides the two-step dancing.
Yeah. So I horseback ride now. So twice a week I do certain hobbies. Like I interchange them
Oh, very
because
cool.
music is great and I love it so much. But I was putting all of my value and life purpose in that instead of like living my life. So that's what COVID taught me.
Were you always singing? I mean, from a little girl down, right in the say, I want to be a singer someday, Mom.
You know what's so funny? I always sang, and there's like videos of me like with the Walkman on, like singing Mariah Carey and stuff. But as I got older, I never ever thought I was going to be a musician, like a front person of a group or a band or solo, because I had extreme anxiety when it came to singing in public, stage fright to the max. Like to this day, every time I go on stage, I am like, I look calm, but internally.
Well, I've seen video of you in performance, and you look right like you live on the stage. You look very calm.
Thank you. But inside, I am like in knots. So every time, like I have to calm myself down. So I never thought I was going to do this for a living.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, right?
I was talking to somebody else and they had the same problem. Danielle Bradbury. She said she used to, like, her family would always want her to sing. Yeah. So she would go under the table where nobody could see her. So that's like maybe taking it to another step.
Yeah, I feel that completely. Like my family would be like, sing in my nanny's kitchen. And I'd be like, ah.
How did you get into the world of being a background vocalist for some of these major artists?
I mean, I never saw it coming. Actually, the funniest part of the whole thing is my first job with Melissa Etheridge. The night before I got that call, I was sitting on my friend's couch and crying, literally crying, being like, I'm a loser. I'm never going to be a singer. I'm never going to get my songs picked up. And I was like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go back to school. The next day, I got a phone call from an MD, a musical director, and they were like, hey, can you be down to New York City in a couple hours? And I was like, wow, is this a joke? Is this a joke? And that's how it started. I didn't audition. I had no experience.
And you were in Utica at the time, so it was doable.
Well, I was actually downstate at that time. Okay. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was doable. I hopped on a train. I was like, is this serious? I got the job. I called my whole family. Everyone flipped out. And it's not too shabby for your first gig.
Very cool. Very cool. J.ANOTONETTE is our guest. Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk. People that are liking the single, can they get a copy of that?
Absolutely. It's on all the streaming and downloading services, Spotify. I mean, you can join me on TikTok and be silly and make duet videos. We're going to be doing
sweet.
We're going to be teaching the line dance to the songs. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be real fun.
Very cool. And folks can always keep in touch with you, Facebook, Instagram, all the socials.
Yep, absolutely. My Instagram is J_Antonette.
Is this part of an album that you're working on, or is that something you're looking to do, or not so much?
Well, we've been back and forth with like putting out a whole record, but honestly, I'm having so much fun making these individual, unique songs right now. So we're just doing singles. So I'll get back to you on that.
There you
go. If we decide to do an album, yeah.
People can buy all the singles and then burn their own copy if they want
Absolutely. I'll make that. If someone wants a CD, you call me up. I'll make you an old school CD, and you let me know.
I may call you to make me an 8-track.
Here you go. There you go.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. I'm going to need a little help, but yeah.
So have you been doing a lot of shows? I know you've opened up for some well-known country acts.
Yeah. COVID was a little strange, so less than previous years, but yeah, I've been able to open for the Eli Young Band and Jordan Davis and Tucker Bethard in the past. And in Nashville, they have this thing that we don't have in upstate or downstate New York. They're called writers' rounds. Yeah. And you go on stage with like 3 or 4 different writers and you play, one song at a time. They go down the line. So I've been doing that and I love it because I get to sit and listen to my peers, hear what they're creating and listen to their stories. And it's such an amazing collaborative community.
It is, just from the times that I've been down there to visit, you can tell not only that, but the musicians are of such, they're way up there. The bar is so high. They can walk in.
The best.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I am loving the song and it's great getting to know you a little bit, and good luck with everything. Do you get back up to New York very often?
Yeah, I head up usually once a month. I try to go up.
Oh, very cool. J.ANOTONETTE is our guest. Heartbroken in a Honky Tonk, the song, and we wish you nothing but the best down the road for sure.
Thank you so much.
Heartbroken in a honky